What is good, battle boos and battle buddies? It's Sergeant Bodie, and I'm back, like I said, with another video about Comp Week. Yes, this is very important because this is a culmination of everything that you've done as far as positioning from the beginning up until this.
In the beginning, in
this point. And this point, by what I mean by that is GIGU, which is the last positioning, new positioning that we will be learning. So now after this, after we do this one subject, we'll be going back into the lab, basically doing Comp Week. And that means we're gonna go back to uppers, upper extremities, lowers, lower extremities, thorax or trunk, and then back to GIGU, which we just finished this week. Yeah, it's a bit of a refresher. It's a big time review, end of course review, so to speak, for the competency for the physical portion of it, positioning, the manipulation.
You're being manipulated,
if you will. When you get into a rad tech course, you'll understand why manipulation is a big deal, or why it's funny or creepy. I don't know. But anyway, the only books that you are allowed to have with you, unless otherwise specified, while you're doing positioning and then testing on positioning in the lab, are your CBCEs. I know that's like inverted there, but CBCE is competency-based clinical education. These are the books, right? I done ripped the pages out of it, but these are the books where you're going to see the positioning, and then you're going to see the instruction or the list of what you're actually supposed to do, how you're supposed to position a person, what degree of an angle you're supposed to have either on the tube or the part or the body part, the person. And that will be measured and graded by your preceptor or an instructor. It's basically an instructor that comes in and looks at what you did, and you either get points off or none at all, and you get a 100 for that view, or you can end up getting a 0 if you have an angle when you shouldn't, or if you don't have the IR, image receptor, lined up with the body part. If you don't have that lined up, the image is a waste. Therefore, you have to, in real life, you would have had to re-expose your patient, and you never ever want to do that. That's what they teach you here. That's the rule. You do not ever want to have to reshoot. It's a big no-no, because then that ups the dose of radiation that you give to the patient, and you don't want to do that. So as I said, all these different CBCEs, I ripped the pages out based off of what I know that's on the list that we'll be possibly doing for Comp Week, because there's a whole list. There's some that you don't know if you're going to do. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. And then others you know for sure that you're going to do. And I can show you that list real quick. But I ripped all those pages out and I've combined it into one binder. It says, "Smells like Comp Week." Yeah. This little drawing was created by one of the other students that was in a class ahead of me. This soldier's name, her name is Ponder. She was an excellent talent, really great artist. We actually have 2 like really great artists in my class right now, but it seemed like she was pumping these out like hotcakes. And she told me I could have this one because I'm like, I don't want to make you do extra work if you already are done, you know, making pictures for your friends and stuff like that. And she actually gave me, this is the one she was using during Comp Week, and she gave it to me. So shout out to Ponder, you the real MVP, because you got my binder looking right. But yeah, so I ripped out the pages. I have a little sheet over here for the stomach. We had to use different parameters for the way that the mannequins were built in the lab, basically, so that we would get as close to the image that we needed to see as possible. So we had to follow those certain parameters over here, not what was on this list, because of the body type. And you'll get into that when you learn what asthenic is and sthenic and hyposthenic or hypersthenic. You'll get into that. But yeah, this is the skull portion. And now you could very well be tested on a view or routine that you have already done. And then more than likely though, you'll have to do something that you didn't do before in that particular subject matter, so to speak. If you didn't do a certain view, say in like lower extremities, you will more than likely maybe have to do that during Comp Week. Also, everybody, I said I was going to go over what we absolutely know we will be doing. We can get into the definites. So everyone will definitely do a chest routine, PA and lateral. You'll absolutely do abdomen, KUB, and upright. And then you will absolutely do a portable AP chest view. The portable AP chest view is a MRFer.
Head motherfucker.
But once you get it down, once you like figure out your rhythm, it's like a cakewalk from there. You just have to remember all those little details.
Details!
About being successful and getting a 100 on that. Yeah, but this is the list here. This list of Comp Week views or potential views that you may have to do for Comp Week can be found in your Competency-Based Clinical Education Manual. So this is basically the book that has all the rules for the program in it. And I would suggest reading it, taking some time out and reading about what is allowed, what tolerances you have, what tolerances you don't have when you're taking these exams, especially the positioning exams, because, you know, it's so cliche to say, but knowledge is absolute power.
Because knowledge is power.
Okay, knowledge is absolute power, and there is tons of knowledge within this thin book in between these little bit of pages here, right? And this is the brains of the operation. This is basically the manuscript to which how this program is run and how all of us are graded. So it's best to be well versed and understand the ins and outs of this program through their own words. Understand what I'm saying to you. Understand how to defend yourself. Understand how things are graded. Understand if somebody makes a mistake, because it happens, this is how you defend yourself. Also, when you're doing positioning exams, right? It's all the instructors, all the available instructors will be the ones who will be grading you in the different rooms, right? There will be one instructor who will be decided, who is what they call the asterisk. And that's the person who makes the final decision about things. They're not actually grading or testing, but they're walking around and helping. And they're making the final decision if you and an instructor or preceptor run into a disagreement. Now, they're always going to refer to this, whether they look in the book or not. They're using their own knowledge because they should be very well versed in the rules and what the tolerances are. But you should have a good knowledge of this as well. Like, don't go into the positioning testing without having read what is allowed for you to do and what isn't allowed for you to do.
Don't do that.
It doesn't matter always what someone says. What does matter is what's in black and white written down. Trust but verify, okay? And whenever there's an issue or a discrepancy, you can always call for the asterisk to come in as a second opinion. And that's exactly what they're there for. And just always remember your military bearing, always remember to have respect. And just ask for the asterisk to come in and re-examine or reevaluate and look at. You want them to come in and give the final second opinion, so to speak, okay? Because you can argue all day long. You can even have them go look up the regulation. More than likely they will do that so that it's plain and simple to everyone in the room. If there's anything misunderstood, it's going to get straightened out. But you always want to make sure you call the asterisk before your patient moves. And of course, we're talking about when you're partnered up and you're using one of your battle buddies as your partner, right? So they're going to be holding a position and you want the asterisk to come in and measure. Either they're measuring the angle or they're measuring like the distance or the length of the IR from point to point, or whatever it is, whatever the tolerance is that you think that you have made and the person or the instructor believes that you went outside of. If there are any doubts that you have from the start, do not be afraid to ask for the asterisk, but you need to do it immediately. And you have to ask for them to come in before the patient moves, before your battle buddy moves from the position that you have them in, okay? If you ask your instructor to get the asterisk and they do not, and they come back and they're talking about something else, ask for the asterisk. Make sure you tell them that you want the asterisk to come to the room and evaluate the position that you've done. Do not be afraid to be wrong. Do not be afraid to be mistaken, because at least you got it straight. You got it figured out, and you probably will more than likely never make that mistake again in the future. But don't be afraid to ask. And yeah, like I said, like, it's not going to be the end of the world if you get a 0 once. For some views, you want to avoid getting more than 1 0, absolutely, because if you do, you're going to end up failing.
You fail me yet again, Starscream.
And you don't want to have to do the reteach or retest dance. You don't want to have to do that. You just want to keep it pushing, right? Absolutely. Okay, but yes, knowledge is power, like I said. read this book, know the rules, know how to defend yourself, and understand what your parameters are. Parameters are important, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. If you have a range, make sure you understand it and know it. Make sure you understand what your SID is, source to image distance. Make sure you understand where the CR is supposed to be, where your central ray is supposed to be directed. Make sure you remember if you have an angle for this view, if it's an axial or whatever, make sure you remember if it's cephalic or caudate, right? Yeah, y'all are gonna get into that. But yes, the binder. You don't have to do this, but a lot of us did because it was efficient. It made sense. You know, we super neat, super cute.
Very demure, very mindful.
I don't know. I like doing crafts. I like little projects. This was my project for this weekend, and I got it done. Yeah, I love an arts and crafts project. One of my favorite things to get into. But yeah, this was my project for this weekend. I love my little artwork on the front. That way I know whose it is. A lot of us decided to do it simply because, like I said, it was a nice, neat thing. We consolidate into one book or one binder instead of having to walk around with a bunch of books and flip the pages. I did used to make tabs for myself whenever we were in that subject matter so we could easily like flip to the page and get right to it, get straight to it, and, you know, waste as little time as possible. I do really like I'm not the super most organized person in the world, but I can appreciate a bit of organization.
You got to coordinate. Most people don't coordinate. So you got to coordinate.
Like, just so that everything isn't haphazard. You know what I mean? When it comes to certain things like this, you know what I mean? But that way, if you have things organized, you know exactly where to find what you're looking for, and it takes essentially no time to find it. So that's the video. I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about Comp Week that's coming up. We're getting geared up, getting ready for it, and yeah, I'll make another one coming back and letting you know how well I did. No, I'm kidding. I'll make another video talking about what all we'll do, and I'm thinking that when we do the FTX, that 3 days out in the field, I'm thinking I might make a video of that. I don't know. I'm really stressed out about having to do that. I just want to be done. I'm so tired. Oh my God, baby, I'm tired.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
But I'm thinking of maybe doing a video about that. We'll see. Who knows? But until then, like I said, you guys keep finding me on Instagram and TikTok. Please keep asking your questions. I love answering them. And until I talk to you again, peace, Battle Boos.